Greetings, freaks and folks. This is Vlad the Lad, and we finally do have a new patch. And I know what you are thinking. Yo, Vlad, this patch is like 2 or 3 days old right now, and also the new cards. What's up? I know, but as I mentioned, I got a full-time job, so yeah, I'm a bit late to the party, but I still wanted to give my thoughts on the new cards and the new patch. So let's roll. So I want to start off with saying that I think they stuffed too much things into the patch. I think the last patch was in, like, balance-wise, was in like November or anything. It's like a really, really long time. And they have a lot of other stuff. We'll get to that later, but yeah, it is what it is. It's finally here. So let's go for it. We're starting with this guy right here. He is the new champion. He was announced some weeks ago. This is Aphelios, and this is what he does. Like, he is so fucking complex. It blew my mind. They even put out a video talking only about the mechanics of this guy. So if you haven't checked it out already, you should do so, because I won't go into detail how this guy is working, but basically what he does is, if you trigger the Nightfall, so if you play a card before, you can pick a moon weapon and create it in hand, which are these 5. You get fucking 5 different weapons, which is a lot to me. And yeah, and then if you have played 2 other cards in the round, you create a phased moon weapon. And so if you play one of these, it will phase into 2 of them, and you have to choose right away what you want to pick afterwards, what you want to phase later. And this is just so mind-fucking. I can't even explain. So I played this guy already. It's playable, but you have to put a lot of thought into it, how you're piloting this guy. Yeah, his level up requirement is having 4 moon weapons, which is, yeah, I mean, you can do it in time, but it's a bit clunky sometimes, it feels to me, because it's slow speed, and you don't have the, like, in total it would be 8 mana to level this guy up if you can't cheat it out in any way, right? So, but once you have leveled him up, your moon weapons cost 1 less, which is sick. So you can just spam it on and on again as long as you have mana. You can spam these weapons, which are really strong. You can stun units, you can give lifesteal to units. By the way, this is the old version when they released him. So this says +1/+2, and it's not grant, it's give. So it's only until the end of the round, like this card as well. I'll show the real stats later. So if you have him leveled up, first of all, he gets quick attack, and then it goes with the same ability actually, but they cost 1 less, which is sick. So if you have a lot of cheap spells or cards, you can just generate on and on with those weapons, which is insane. His signature card is the Gifts from Beyond, which is basically his Nightfall trigger. You can choose from one of these 5 weapons. So let's go ahead with these new cards. Shoutouts to Cosmic Place at this point. He's already always collecting all those cards and putting them into one picture, which is really nice. So show him the love, please. Yeah, we'll start off with the Flight, which is a 1 mana 2/1 elusive, which is a very strong deadline. But once you strike the Nexus, you have to shuffle him back into the top 3 cards of your deck, which slows you down. But in exchange, you get to draw 1. So if they don't take him out, you can draw 1 for free. But I think I read right that you can. I know it's you draw first, and then you shuffle him into into your deck in the top 3 cards, and you draw him again. So if you don't have a lot of card draw, this is maybe can feel a bit clunky and slows you down, because it's only 1 drop and it's not very strong. I think, like, as of now, I don't know how much plays it sees. I don't think that much. Then we have Stress Testing, which is a 1-mana fleeting card. Actually, it's a main deckable fleeting card, which is a premier. But if you drop it down, or if you discard it, rather you can draw one. So it's an auto cycle in that way. So you don't have to cast it. If you don't cast it, you just discard it and you draw another card. So if you have cycling decks that discard decks, this can be really strong because it's a free discard father. You can discard for Draven Axis, for all sorts of things. Get Excited, all those cards. It's just a free discard father, and you draw one, and you don't lose value out of it. So I think in those particular decks it sees play, but in other I'm not quite sure, because the main thing what it does, it's removing the fleeting from other cards, which I couldn't think of a really good use for it as of now, but maybe I have to look a bit more into it. I didn't have that much time yet to check all the new cards and try stuff. Then we have the Sky Shadows, which is pretty nice combo with our Aphelios, because one of those weapons he has is you cast a 2-cost follower from your deck. If it has Nightfall, you trigger it. This guy right here, he has no Nightfall, but it's a 2-mana card. So if you play it, or if you get this card out of your deck, you just get the 2 mana back that you got there. It's pretty similar with the Apprentice from Piltover Zone, which is a 2 mana 2/1 and has the same effect, but you don't have to behold the Nightfall card. So this is the requirement, but this guy has Nightfall, right? So if you have Aphelios out, you play the Crescendum, you get this Sky Shadows, you get those 2 mana back because you have a Nightfall to behold. Troll Gifts is actually sick. I think 2 mana burst spell, so it's not countable, and you grant a unit, an ally, regeneration, which is a big deal, because the only thing that could give you regeneration is the 6 mana 5/5, I forgot the name, from Riot, which gives you regeneration and overwhelm at the same time if you behold an 8+ cost card. And this is just insane with some cards. I have some pretty nice ideas. I will share it with you later down the line. But if this guy already has regeneration, give it +2/+2 instead. So I'm thinking of synergies with Karma, for example, which is also with the Flurry of Fists. And Troll Gifts has almost the same effect. So if you have leveled up Karma, you grant regeneration, and then you give +2/+2 on top of it, because it already has regeneration, right? So it's just a pretty sick card. I think it really sees play, not only in like troll decks. I think it has its utility in others as well. Like, for example, challenges, right? It's so many things you can think of. And this is also what I really like about this deck, this card set, is that you see it and you have so many things going around, and you're like, yeah, I want to try this, and I really love this patch. So if you haven't noticed already, I really do. So we go ahead with the Starbone, which is, if you behold the Messenger, grant Celestials allies everywhere +1/+1. Well, I already designed a deck with the Messenger, having the Messenger in it, but I'm not quite sold on it yet, because it's only the Celestial cards. I mean, it's really cheap. It's a 2 mana burst speed spell, but at the first point it doesn't do that much. If you have the Messenger out, he gets +1/+1, obviously. But you have to get him, right? The Messenger isn't main deckable, so you can't cast it really early. You have to get with the, what's it called, the 1 mana where you discard the card, and then you get from 0 to 3, get Celestial card, and then you get the Messenger. it's a possibility. It's not sure if you get it. And the other way to get him is the Messenger Sigil, which will actually see play now with this card more than before. I already played it before, so I also have decks where I want to include it, but I'm not sure how competitive this is. Gluttony is a really, really nice card. This is like the Waltz Ophelia effect, but instead of having the Waltz Ophelia out and you are forced to have this effect going on and on again, you just do it once. And this is really nice with like so many combinations that you already have in those Waltz Ophelia decks, like with the Grizzled Ranger into the Radiant Guardian. This is, I think, the sickest combo with that. You trigger the Radiant Guardian right away, and you still get the Badgerbeer, I think it's the name, out of it. Also the Nivea into Rekindler. Just so much things you can do with that. And you just do it once, and you're not forced to have this thing on and on again, so you don't have to sacrifice your Radiant Guardian after you do the combo with the Badgerbeer. And this is just, yeah, a really nice tool. I think it really sees plays. Then we have the Flurry of Fists, which is finally some quick attack support. I think they have really... there are not that many units in the game that have double attack, and I really like that they included more of this archetype, or of this keyword rather. So you grant an ally +1/+0 and quick attack, and if it already has, you grant it double attack. This is just so sick because it's a burst speed spell. You can't counter it if you attack and you have a quick attack unit that's not blocked. You just put it on, you get +1 attack, which is then with the double attack +2 effectively, and you just double smash the Nexus, which can be game winning. This is just sick. It's also a really good card. Then we have the Fangs, which is similar with the Sunforger, Solari Sunforger, because the Sunforger also is in the Targon, has lifesteal and is 4 mana. But this is way weaker. The Sunforger has 5/4, this one has 3/2. But as a payoff, you get to play a Celestial card that costs 3 or less. So you can also get the Messenger out of it, which is really important to combine it with this card. So I think Starborn only sees play ultimately in those synergy decks with the Celestials, right? With Allegiance and everything. Then the Veiled Temple is also a nice card. I don't know how competitive it is, because it just pushes you further. Like it's a ramp basically, or a refueling. Because what's important, it's refill mana, not spell mana. So you can play creatures afterwards as well, which is really nice. And on top of that, you get to get +1/+1 for your strongest ally. So in the with this dude together, this is really nice, because you want to face the moon weapons either way. So it has a good synergy, obviously, with this guy. I mean, I think it's even in the background or anything. Yeah, but you know, it's the moon guy. It's the moon landmark, let's say, and those go really well together. I played it already, and it puts in the work. Then we have Power Pandemonium, which is summoning a powder monkey and give a random enemy vulnerable this round for each time you've activated Plunder. For 4 mana, this is sick, and I think from the first impression, it's a bit too strong. Like, imagine if you have leveled up Gangplank already, or Sejuani. They need 5 triggers, and with 5 you almost have a full board. Like if it's empty, like imagine going in with a attack, open attack, then some of your board dies. They're blocking. They think they are safe. You play trigger the Plunder maybe. Then you play Power Pandemonium and the Citrus Courier. You get to rally again, and you just smack him again, you just wiped his full board, which is already weakened, and you put in so much damage. This is sick. So I'm also happy to experiment with that as well. Then we got the White Claws, which for me as a Noxus player is pretty sweet, I gotta say. I really want to experiment with Darius. Obviously, if he's leveled up, he's at 10 attack, so it's a sort of slow speed concerted strike where you strike for 5 mana. So it's not like single combat. They fight each other. It's just you strike it, and then the overwhelm damage that accesses deals to the enemy nexus. So it's basically like another attack with the overwhelm unit, without your unit taking damage from that. So you can, I don't know, do crazy things with that, like taking out the biggest blocker. It's an opponent interaction, which I think Noxus needed a bit more, because they don't have that much. They have this like damage spells and everything, but they really miss out on dealing with specific units you want to remove from the board. Yeah. Then we go ahead with the Cloven Way, which is a 5 mana 5/4 with Overwhelm, which isn't too great, but if you have the Nightfall enabled, you can stun an enemy, and if it's a follow, you stun it again in the next round start. It's a strong effect, but I'm not too sold on the specific mana, 5 mana. You want a stronger unit than a 4 life unit, with Overwhelm. I'm not too sold on that unit as of now. We have to wait and see. Which is also the case for the Molten Breath. It's a 6 mana slow speed, which says if you have, or an ally with Fury, strikes the 2 weakest enemies. So it's like Raven. No, it's not Raven. The big guy from, I will just have it here right now, which is the same effect by striking the 2 weakest enemies, but you have to have an ally with Fury. So it's good in Dragon decks, but even there, like a 6 mana slow speed spell, it's interruptible. You can just kill the unit you're targeting, your ally, and yeah, I'm not too sold on it either. Yeah, we have to wait and see, right? So let's go ahead and talk a bit more about the Aphelios guy. I'm actually really excited for him, but it's really hard to pilot, as I already mentioned. And we had this chart right here in the video from the developer, where they showed how you get to pick the weapons one after another, because it's not like you face whatever you want. You have to face one of these two. Like if you want the Calibrum, you can only do the Severum and the Gravitum. So it would be the Gravitum and the Severum, which is the Lifesteal and the Stun card after that. And then there are the other two. So this is already a nice chart, but fortunately there was a guy, let me actually check the name. Yeah, Deech TV was the name of that guy, who put together this chart, which is way better to, like it's not devil ritual stuff, it's just showing what those weapons do and what you can face them into, right? And where they come from, or yeah, English, you know what I mean. So I think we really want to have that open if we play Aphelios, and I recommend that to you as well. As a bit of a teaser, I will have Aphelios video out, because some of you guys already wanted that, and I want to deliver, and I really want to experiment with them as well, and I got a really dope deck, so stay tuned for that. I think that's everything here, and now we go ahead with the patch notes. Patch 2.10, and they put a lot of shit into this. Let's start by looking at this, which is the Lunar Celebration. So basically, it's you log in every day and you get a new card from the new set, like those specific cards here, which are shown, and at the end you get the bull ox thingy card back, which is pretty nice. So you don't have to do a full bunch of work for getting those cards, just logging in. Then the card updates, the balancing stuff. This is something I was really hoping or looking forward to, because we had some issues with Grand Plaza and every other stuff, right? So yeah, we start off with the Misfortune. I didn't quite see that coming. I wanted to get Scouts nerfed, but I don't know if this is the right way to do it. They remove the Overwhelm basically from the leveled up Misfortune. But the really strong thing about leveled up Misfortune is that you deal 3 times the damage to the enemy. So if you don't have a blocker with 4 attack or more, you can't even block properly. So you don't get to strike the enemy. You will die right before you can actually deal damage to the unit by blocking. So, or I mean, unless you have tough. Yeah, but now maybe you don't want to attack with Misfortune like on top of your other attackers anymore, because she doesn't have the Overwhelm where she would just burst you down and then she runs through with the Overwhelm. It's not possible anymore. So it's a bit of a nerf for the Scouts, but it will still be really strong for sure. Then we have the Victor, which gets a buff finally. I really hoped for that as well, and they buffed him in 2 different ways, which is you have to have 1 less created card to level him up, and he now creates his Hex Core upgrade when he gets played as well, which is a start, but I don't know if it's enough. Like as I mentioned, I have a deck coming around where I will show some gameplay, and yeah, I guess we'll find out together if it's enough or not. Then we go ahead with Grand Plaza. Finally, it got nerfed. They took away the 1 health, so you only get +1/+0 plus the Challenger, and I'm not quite sure if that's the right way to go with. I mean, still, if you have more health, it's more important than attack in terms of balancing and stuff. So it was the harder hit there. But for example, when I'm thinking about the ephemeral archetype with the Grand Plaza together, the ephemerals, they don't care about their life. They will just attack and they want to have the stronger boost. So I don't know if that's the right way to go. But still, it's really needed nerf, so you can't trade that easily into other cards by just attacking them and using the 1 more power that you get on top of it when you summon an ally. So it's something, but the future will tell if was it the right way to go. Then we have the War Chefs. I was surprised by that as well, but this is definitely the better stat line, because you need to apply pressure with the War Chefs, or with support decks in general, because they are mostly unit based, and you can't apply that much pressure with a 1/3. It's just the 1 attack is just too weak for a 2-drop, and yeah, I mean, it was necessary to nerf him from a 2/3, that's for sure. So I think 2/2 is ultimately the best stat line. Homecoming got the old Will of Aeonia mana, so it's in that regard it's Will of Aeonia back again, and yeah, on top of it you can recall landmarks also, which is really important against decks like Tahm-Kench Soraka, where they have their Star Spring ongoing and they would win the game, and you can disable that with the Homecoming. So ultimately, I think it's also a healthy boost for it because it didn't see play whatsoever. It's the problem with that card is that they can interact with your ally that you want to recall, and if they kill the ally before, you can't trigger the effect. So ultimately, I think it's a good way to go. The Greenglade Elder didn't only get buffed by 1 but 2 attack. It's now a 3/1, which is really a good way to go, I think, because for a 3-drop, a 1/1 is just too it's not enough power. Like if you compare it, for example, with the how's it called, the little 1/1 guy, the wee man, he is way stronger than this guy. Like 3 mana 1/1, and the other one, if he supports somebody, he grants +2/+2, and you get the 3 gems on top of it, which is way better than this guy. So this is also a healthy thing to do. Then we got Captain Farron, which finally got some nerf as well. Like as an Noxus player, I loved him and I loved his power, but it was too strong to me. With his 3 decimates, you just felt powerless sometimes if you don't have heal in your deck, or if you're already too low and you don't have the resources to get back into the game. He would just smack you out with his 3 decimates. Doesn't even matter if you remove the Farron or not, right? So 2 decimates is definitely the right way to go. Then we have the Blade of Exile, which I love to see buffed because the slow speed spell is just too clunky. I mean, 3 mana is just insane. If you put that much resource into it with the Reforge to create this, and then you still have to pay that much at slow speed, which is, it didn't feel right. And now it feels way more, because 1 mana it's something you could risk, and something where you could pass over initiative without committing that much mana, and it's also a way to go, definitely, for this card right here. The Blade Squire is also getting, you could say buff, nerf, whatever. He now gets to die easier, but keep in mind that you want him to die, because with the Last Breath you get the Reforge, and now you get to apply more pressure by having 2 attack, which is ultimately something you want to do with Riven. You just want to apply early pressure, and having doubled up his attack is definitely a way to go here. So also happy with this patch. They almost only did good things this time, thankfully. So we're going on with Hush, and Hush finally got nerfed as well. We had a lot of frustration with that card in the past, and we will have in the future, but not that much, because they now have to commit 3 mana to silence your unit, because the super strong thing about it, you can silence a hero, or a champion rather, which is only applied or possible through Hush. There's no other card in the game where you take away that much power. Like think of a Braum, think of any buff related deck where you just push up your champion, and over you commit that much mana, and like the Undying Rage, is it called, I think, the +8/+4, and they just take it away for 2 mana. It's so fucking powerful. It's just so ultimately thankful for nerfing that as well, but I think we still will see a lot of play of Hush in the future. They will put it as a 3-off into decks still, because it's still that powerful at burst speed, and you can't do anything about it, and it's still, the effect is too good. And another overpowered card from Targon got nerfed. Also happy about this change to take away 1 power. So you still get to draw the card, you still don't lose value out of it, and for 2 mana having +1/+1 is now healthy. If you compare, for example, with the, what's it called? I'm forgetting names over and over because nobody plays that card as well. The 1 mana +1/+1 from Demacia, and you pay 1 mana more to draw a card, which is now fair to me. So I'm a target player, but still I'm happy with this change because it's not overpowered anymore. Yeah, then we have a lot of cosmetic stuff. Yeah, some of these are cool. I'm not too sold on the emotes this time. Yeah, the others were like the emotes they released before. There were some haters for that, but I loved a lot of them. But this time it was like maybe too kawaii stuff. I don't know, anime. I'm not too much into that. So if you like it, go ahead. But nothing too crazy for me. And yeah, some expedition changes, bug fixes. You can go over that as well if you want to. What I also want to talk about, which is another big thing, which is weird that they put it into this just text and no pictures whatsoever. It is I think a really big thing in the game where they add basically a single player mode of campaign, let's say, where you can go with the different champions and you can play for getting a new profile icon. And this is pretty cool. I already played it. You should try it out. It's a lot of fun, and there you can also get used to the mechanics of Aphelios, because you also can get to play him. So definitely check that out. I liked it quite a bit, that mode. So another big thing, which I think they should have done separately, because now it's that much input and stuff that I think people have a hard time valuing this particular thing when they have so many things going around, like smashing around the meta with all those changes and also adding all these new cards. Yeah, this is ultimately something they should do in portions, at least from my perspective. The best way to go would be having a big expansion and not having it split it out, to have a proper expansion which works together. Because when they released Targon with the first expansion set, there were so many archetypes like dragons and other things that just felt incomplete, and I disagreed with time when I saw what dragons could be later down the line. And maybe they should do more of these card releases like this, where they add some utility, or the KDA cards. It was also a healthy thing to do, and I think they should go more with that, to release a card set of maybe 5 to 10 cards sometime, and just do a big expansion which is whole and feels complete when you play it. So yeah, these are my thoughts on the new expansion, or rather mini expansion, and the new patch. Really happy with that. I said that a lot of times in the video, but I will repeat it because I'm happy with how it with how it went rather, and I'll leave it at that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your support up to now. I really love to see that some people enjoyed my videos, and I will push on and deliver more. I think actually maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow I will release another deck, because it's always when you get new cards you need to try things, and I really want to do that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Vlad out.